If I hadn't gone to get that damn cashmere shawl, I might have been like a happy fool, wearing a Vera Wang couture wedding gown a month later, saying "I do" to the man named Derek under the crystal chandeliers at the Plaza Hotel. But fate just had to make me turn back that Friday night. It was the terrace of a private club in the Hamptons, the sea breeze laced with the pungent smell of cigars and the aroma of expensive whiskey. Through a half-open French window, I heard the man who was about to become my husband loudly holding forth with his Wall Street cronies. "Derek, are you serious? Are you really going to marry Riley?" asked his partner at Goldman Sachs, his voice tinged with drunkenness and disbelief. "That Asian chick is pretty and a well-known PR director, but she used to be Noah's girlfriend. You really don't mind?" The air froze for a second, immediately followed by an eruption of harsh, raucous laughter. I knew Derek's voice well. Normally, it was deep and warm, a voice like a cello that could tug at a woman's heartstrings. But at this moment, that voice was filled with disdain and malicious glee, like a rusty saw. "Don't make me laugh. Get married." Pfft. Derek blew out a smoke ring, his tone so callous it chilled me to the bone. If it wasn't to spite that hypocrite Noah, would I have gone to such lengths to chase after Riley? I've got it all planned out. On the wedding day, when all the socialites are there and the priest asks if I take her, I'll just say, "I don't. I'm not picking up Noah's sloppy seconds." I've even thought out the expression for that moment. I want to watch that forever calm, high-class face of hers crumble, watch her cry her makeup off. That would definitely be more thrilling than watching a stock I shorted plummet. All around was a chorus of jeering whistles and the clinking of glasses. "Oh my God, Derek, you are so bad." Now that is our Wolf of Wall Street playing it real big. That scene will definitely make page 6 when it happens. I can't wait to see it. I stood in the shadows, my fingers gripping the clutch in my hand deathly tight, my nails almost digging into the flesh. The champagne in my hand that I hadn't had a chance to drink yet was now shaking in the glass as I trembled. My mind went blank for a moment, like I'd been smashed by a heavy hammer, the ringing in my ears drowning out the sound of the waves. The Derek who made me coffee every morning ran with me in Central Park and booked out a whole Michelin restaurant to propose on my birthday. Turns out this is how he sees me. Damaged goods, a tool, a trophy. I always thought I was his soulmate, but it turns out I'm just a pawn in the game between him and his arch nemesis, Noah. Noah, the ex who dumped me in college to start his business, has now become a thorn in Derek's side, and the way to pull out that thorn is to utterly destroy me. If this were the 20-year-old me, I might storm in and splash a drink in his face, or cry and demand to know why. But I'm 27 this year, the crisis management director at a top Manhattan PR firm. My professional instincts forcibly erected a firewall right at the edge of my emotional collapse. I will not allow myself to make a scene in this setting filled with old money and snobs. Storming in now would only cement my status as a joke and complete the farce that Derek wants. Deep breath. Riley. Deep breath. I stared at the man inside the floor-to-ceiling window, wearing a bespoke suit and grinning malevolently. He was raising his glass, basking in the adoration of the male creatures around him, as if he could already see my future of total ruin. Since this is a hunt designed to humiliate, the roles of hunter and prey aren't exactly set in stone yet. Want to watch me break down at the wedding? Want to see me become the laughingstock of all New York? Dream on. Not only will I turn this wedding into your funeral, but I'll also make sure you can't even find a grave to weep over. I turned around and poured that glass of expensive champagne into the potted plant next to me, my movements so gentle they didn't make a sound. Then I took out my phone and turned on the recording function. Although the recording quality through the glass wasn't perfect, those few key insults were clear enough. Save, upload to cloud, encrypt. After doing all this, I composed the expression on my face, making sure the corners of my mouth held that impeccable, slightly tired but still sweet smile. I didn't push the door open to go in, but instead turned and walked towards the parking lot. Sitting in my Audi, I dialed Derek's number. The phone rang for a long time before he picked up, and the background noise vanished instantly. Clearly, he had moved to a quiet place. "Babe, what's wrong?" Derek's voice instantly switched back to that devoted fiancé channel, sickeningly gentle. "I'm discussing a project with a few investors. Might be back a bit late." Discussing a project? More like discussing how to ruin me. I looked at my pale but calm face in the rearview mirror, my voice so steady it even surprised me. "It's nothing. I just have a bit of a headache, so I'm heading back to the city first. Don't drink too much, and remember to take the liver supplements I prepared for you." "Okay, honey. Get some rest. Love you." Hanging up the phone, I could even imagine the smug expression he'd show to that pack of scoundrels after hanging up. Look, this stupid woman is completely wrapped around my finger. I started the car, floored the gas, and the car shot onto the highway to Manhattan like an arrow released from the string. That night, the lights of Manhattan were still as bright as day, but the light in my eyes had gone out completely. Taking its place was the raging fire of revenge. For the next 3 days, I probably pulled off an Oscar-worthy performance. Derek kept playing the role of the perfect fiancé. He took me to Tiffany's to pick up my clean diamond ring, took me for the final fitting of my wedding dress, and even held my hand to rehearse our walk in the Plaza Hotel ballroom, the very place he planned to humiliate me, with eyes full of fake adoration. "Riley, this place is going to be covered in your favorite white roses," he said, pointing at the empty stage. "You're going to be the most beautiful bride in all of New York." I smiled and leaned on his shoulder, but inside I was sneering. "Yeah, covered in white roses. Convenient for my funeral, huh?" "As long as you're here, I love any flowers," I said softly, forcing down the nausea churning in my stomach. Just as I was figuring out where to start looking for more concrete evidence, the big data algorithms saved me a lot of trouble. Maybe fate was on my side, because one night while Derek was in the shower, my Instagram Explore page suddenly recommended a small account with hardly any followers. The account name was M's Secret Garden. The reason it got pushed to me is probably because our contacts overlap, or our locations often match up. The first photo was a side profile of a man driving, showing only the hand gripping the steering wheel and a Patek Philippe watch. That watch was the engagement gift I gave Derek, with our initials C and L engraved on the back of the case. The caption read, "He says he's getting married, but in his heart, there's only me." This hand was holding mine just moments ago. All the blood instantly rushed to my head. I clicked into the homepage, scrutinizing every post like a meticulous detective. It was a typical green tea alt account, documenting a shady underground affair. Although the man never showed his face, those shots from the back, those custom suit cufflinks only I knew about, and those location tags at a Soho apartment during his so-called overtime all pointed to Derek. And the owner of this account was no stranger to me either. Melanie, an assistant curator at a gallery in Chelsea, and also Derek's direct junior from college. She's always worked hard to cultivate an artsy goddess and chill vibe persona, and usually whenever she sees me, she's constantly sweet-talking me with Sister Riley, acting closer than anyone. Turns out the so-called junior sister was a sister sleeping under the same covers. I continued scrolling down and saw a video from 3 days ago. The video background is a loft apartment in the Soho district with dim lighting and suggestive jazz music. The camera pans over the ingredients on the table: premium black truffles, fresh Parmesan cheese, and a big slab of Wagyu beef. Caption, "Cooking for my boy. Gotta give him the best. Don't let the leftover scraps go to waste either. Might as well make use of everything." Leftover scraps? I stared at this line of text, suddenly remembering that night when Derek rarely came home early, excitedly carrying an insulated bag, saying he went to an Italian cooking class and specifically brought back some black truffle risotto he made himself for me. "Riley, this is top-tier black truffle I lined up to buy." He brought the plate in front of me that day, his eyes sparkling. "I know you've been working hard planning the wedding lately, so I wanted to give you some nourishment." Even though I didn't have much appetite at the time, to respond to his love, I forced myself to eat more than half of it and even posted a photo on Moments to show off our relationship. Now, looking at the messily chopped truffle scraps in Melanie's video and that piece of gristle that was obviously left over after the good meat was trimmed off, the acid in my stomach instantly surged up. I rushed into the master bedroom's bathroom, knelt before the toilet, and started retching violently as if tearing my insides apart. So that loving dinner I was so touched by that day was just trash he conveniently packed up after messing around with his mistress. He used the scraps picked over by another woman to feed me, his soon-to-be-abandoned fiancée, just like a bone an owner casually tosses to a watchdog. "Riley, what's wrong?" The bathroom door was pushed open and Derek rushed out wrapped in a bath towel, still wearing that same concerned look on his face. "Where are you not feeling well? Did you eat something bad?" He reached out, wanting to pat my back. I abruptly dodged sideways. In that instant, my physical repulsion hit its peak. I even felt like the smell of Melanie's cheap perfume was still lingering on his hands. "Don't touch me," I screamed, my voice hoarse from vomiting. Derek stunned for a moment, his hand freezing in mid-air, a trace of confusion and displeasure flashing through his eyes. "What's wrong, babe? It's me, Derek." I splashed cold water hard onto my face, forcing myself to calm down. Now wasn't the time to show my cards. My L1 visa hadn't come through yet. My position at the London headquarters still needed final confirmation, and I needed time to transfer my assets. I couldn't fall apart now. I raised my head, looking at the hypocrite behind me through the mirror, and squeezed out a weak smile, tears welling up in my eyes, not because of sadness, but because of disgust. "I'm sorry, Derek," I said, panting. "Maybe it's low blood sugar from dieting these last few days. I just had a sudden dizzy spell and it scared me." The doubt in Derek's eyes dissipated, replaced by a perfunctory relief. "Scared me to death. I thought something was wrong." "Honestly, you don't need to push yourself so hard just to wear the wedding dress. You're already very thin." He turned to pour me some water, still muttering, "Tomorrow I'll have the housekeeper make you some soup. Don't torment yourself like this anymore." Watching his back, I gripped the marble edge of the sink tightly, my knuckles turning white. "Derek, Melanie, since you guys love playing making the most of everything and secret affairs so much, I'll grant your wish. I'll make this bowl of spoiled black truffle risotto the most expensive Last Supper you've ever had." I wiped the water drops off my face, and my gaze in the mirror turned as sharp as a blade. I think I need to give this M's secret garden a little return gift. After all, it would be rude not to reciprocate. The next morning, Derek went to work on Wall Street, leaving me a hurried but sweet good morning kiss. Of course, I accepted it while holding my breath. Just as I was getting ready to go to the office to handle the final handover, my phone screen lit up. A FaceTime request. The name was Noah. The instigator who got me and Derek all tangled up. I hesitated for 2 seconds, then answered. On the other side of the screen, Noah was wearing a gray hoodie. The background was a minimalist office with San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. He looked more mature than in college. That air of a new startup elite was practically spilling out of the screen. "Riley, I heard you're getting married." He cut straight to the chase, his voice carrying an uncomfortable kind of certainty. "Page 6 already ran it, and you're only asking now. Isn't it a bit late?" I answered nonchalantly while organizing the papers on my desk, not even bothering to look at the camera. Noah paused for a moment, then suddenly dropped a bombshell. "Don't marry him, Riley. Derek doesn't really want to marry you, he just wants to beat me." I stopped what I was doing and looked up at the man on the screen, who was wearing a solemn expression. It's laughable. These two men, one treats me as a trophy, the other treats me as an old toy he hasn't completely let go of yet. They're both satisfying their male egos by possessing me or saving me, but neither has ever truly asked what I want. Noah, do you have proof? I asked coldly. I do. Noah seemed to have been ready for this. He did something on the screen and sent over a few photos. The photo is from a candid angle. The picture is a bit blurry, but it's clear enough to see Derek walking into a certain apartment building in Soho with his arm around a woman. Although you can't see the woman's face clearly with that signature chestnut wavy hair and that Chanel jacket, who else could it be but Melanie? This was taken by a private investigator. Noah's voice became urgent. Derek has always been a jerk ever since college. Riley, he doesn't deserve it. Come back to me. You know I've never forgotten you. My company is about to go public. I can give you... Enough. I interrupted him, my voice terrifyingly calm. Noah, do you know what the most ironic thing is? I looked at the man on the screen who thought he was being so devoted. Back when you dumped me alone in New York to go start your business in Silicon Valley, you were just as heartless. You said I didn't understand your ambition. You said I wasn't useful enough. Now that you've made it and you look back to see I'm about to marry your arch rival, your possessiveness is kicking in, isn't it? Noah's expression froze. And don't think of yourself as a savior. I smiled dismissively. You think a few photos will make me grateful. Derek is a jerk, but that doesn't make you a good person. I'll keep these photos, not to get back to you, but to make this whole show more interesting. What show? Noah frowned. Just wait for the invitation, ex-boyfriend. I hung up the video call and casually blocked his number. Once unfaithful, never trusted again, whether it's cheating or abandonment. Even though these photos are blurry, combined with the content I have from Melanie's Finsta account, it's basically a perfect, airtight chain of evidence. Now that the material is ready, let's start editing. I opened my computer, created a new folder, and named it Project Payback. I spent the whole day screenshotting every post on Finsta and arranging them by timeline. I also exported the chat logs from Derek's phone that were deleted but still recoverable. Thanks to iCloud Sync, he thought deleting them locally meant he was safe. Little did he know the cloud never lies. I also made an incredibly exquisite PPT. As a top publicist, doing a presentation is my specialty. Page 1. Investigation report on Mr. Derek's premarital private life. Page 2. Timeline comparison, overtime meeting versus check-in at Soho apartment. Page 3. Financial flow, buying discounted bouquets for fiancé versus buying limited edition bags for mistress. Every page comes with large HD photos and data analysis, detailed enough to be used directly as evidence in court. After finishing all this, looking at the shocking betrayals on the screen, I surprisingly felt not a shred of pain, just the thrill of being about to complete a big project. I picked up my phone and sent an email to HR at the London headquarters, confirmed acceptance of transfer, L1 visa expedited processing underway, expected to arrive in London next Friday. Next Friday was exactly the day before the wedding. Maybe she felt it was time for me to join the game too. Melanie wasn't satisfied with just posting little essays online. Wednesday afternoon, I was waiting for a to-go coffee at Mamam, a trendy cafe in Soho. It's not far from my office, but I didn't expect to run into Melanie here, or rather, she came specifically to corner me. Riley, what a coincidence. Melanie was wearing that Chanel tweed jacket from the sneak shots, carrying an Hermès Picotin. Her makeup so exquisite she looked like she was about to walk the red carpet. I looked at her like I was looking at a clown. Quite a coincidence. I took the iced oat latte the barista handed me, my tone indifferent. I heard you're getting married, congrats. Melanie stepped closer, the sickly sweet scent of her tuberose perfume assaulting my nostrils. Derek is really amazing, although sometimes when a man is too amazing, there are lots of temptations around. You'd better keep a close eye on him, sis. This was a blatant provocation. She was implying, you only got the shell. His soul has been with me for a long time. In the past, these kinds of mind games might have made me anxious and filled with self-doubt. but now I just found it funny. Melanie, I looked into her eyes, painted with that innocent, droopy look. Do you know what you call top-tier black truffles if they're chopped up and mixed into leftovers? Melanie froze for a moment. What? It's called swill, I said with a smile. Only beggars would treat swill like treasure. You think you stole some rare gem? It's actually just expired goods I was about to throw in the trash bin. Melanie's face instantly turned ugly, that layer of feigned chill vibe cracking. What do you mean? You think Derek actually loves you? He even said on Finsta. Before the words were fully out, she realized she'd slipped up and abruptly covered her mouth. Finsta? I raised an eyebrow. Oh, so that M's secret garden is you. The photos are nice, but too bad the taste is a bit tacky. It doesn't match that suit of Derek's. Exposed, Melanie flew into a rage out of humiliation. She stopped pretending to be that sweet junior, and her eyes turned vicious. Since you know, then stop hogging the toilet. Derek doesn't want to marry you at all. He just pities you. Be smart and break off the engagement yourself. Don't wait until your wedding night when you won't even have a place to cry. The surrounding customers had already started looking sideways at them. Getting worked up already? Too low level. I looked down at the iced latte in my hand that I hadn't even taken a sip of. The condensation on the cup was sliding down my fingers, biting cold. You're right, I shouldn't be hogging the spot. I took a step forward and flipped my wrist. Splash, dash, dash. A whole large cup of iced oat latte, ice cubes and all, splashed with pinpoint accuracy onto Melanie's expensive Chanel jacket, flowing down inside her collar, instantly ruining her exquisite makeup and that battle outfit. Ah! Melanie screamed and jumped up, like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. The cafe went dead silent. Everyone was stunned. I pulled a few $100 bills out of my bag and stuffed them into her coffee-splattered Hermes bag, my movements as elegant as if I were tipping a waiter. Dry cleaning fee, keep the change. I leaned close to her ear and said in a voice only the two of us could hear, This coffee is a reward. Remember, I'm the one who didn't want him, not the other way around. Trash belongs in the trash can. Don't come out here parading yourself around. After saying that, amidst the shocked stares of the entire room, I walked out of the cafe in my 10-centimeter heels without looking back. The moment I pushed open the door, the Manhattan sunlight spilled over me. Satisfying. So satisfying. The thrill of tearing into a two-faced bitch right to her face felt even more exhilarating than signing $1 million deal. But I knew this was just the appetizer. The real main course was yet to come. When I got back to the apartment, it was empty. For the past few days, I've been moving things out bit by bit, shipping off or selling everything that belonged to me. To keep Derek from getting suspicious, I purposely left behind some worthless but bulky items like IKEA throw pillows and a few worn-out coats. The real valuables, jewelry, designer bags, had long since turned into numbers sitting in my bank account, especially that Tiffany diamond ring. For the sake of appearances, Derek bought a 2-carat D-color VVS1, costing him a big chunk of his year-end bonus. I found a reliable, second-hand luxury dealer, and although it took a big hit in value, it still exchanged for a tidy sum of US dollars. The money has arrived, Miss Riley. The luxury dealer texted me. Looking at the account balance, I smiled with satisfaction. This is the essence of an American-style divorce. Feelings are optional, but the money must be secured in the bag. When Derek came back in the evening, he saw me packing my suitcase. "Babe, where are you going?" he asked warily. "Oh, the company is sending me on a short business trip to Las Vegas to handle an urgent PR crisis," I lied without batting an eye. "It works out since you're going there for your bachelor party too, didn't we agree? You go have your wild fun, and once I'm done, I'll fly straight back to get ready for the wedding." Derek obviously breathed a sigh of relief and was even a little happy. After all, if I were there, he wouldn't be able to let loose at his bachelor party. "That's great, so see you in Vegas," or, "I won't disturb your work. Shall we see each other in New York the day before the wedding?" he asked tentatively. Let's meet the day before the wedding. I closed the suitcase, concealing the fact that inside were actually all my belongings for London. According to custom, it's bad luck to meet 3 days before the wedding. Whatever you say. Derek walked over and hugged me, completely failing to notice that this home was already missing so much of my presence. He was thinking about his bachelor revelry, and I was thinking about my cross-border escape. We hugged, each harboring our own ulterior motives. This was our last night in New York. Derek, enjoy your bachelor party. When you come back, what awaits you will be a grand ceremony you will never forget. The day Derek went to Las Vegas, I set off too. He sent me a selfie from the JFK first-class lounge, holding champagne, with his background filled with that pack of equally well-dressed cronies. The caption read, "Vegas baby, last bachelor night, not going home till we're wasted." I replied with a heart emoji, then turned off my phone, pulled out that USSIM card, snapped it hard, and tossed it into the trash can in the airport restroom. With that crisp, snapping sound, my 7 years in New York came to a complete end. I didn't go to Las Vegas. I went to Heathrow Airport, and in the dozen or so hours after I boarded according to my plan, the wedding planners are still in full swing decorating the ballroom at the Plaza Hotel. Those 10,000 air-freighted Ecuadorian white roses are gradually filling the hall, just as Derek promised, lavish, dreamy, and reeking of money. But what he doesn't know is that I've already changed the wedding day schedule. The originally scheduled Couples Growth Retrospective video was replaced by me with that file folder named Project Payback. To ensure nothing went wrong, I even bribed the guy in charge of the AV. He was a friend he met while working part-time at a bar, an art student filled with hatred for the rich. It only took me $2,000 to get him to agree to press the play button at the critical moment, and he even promised to delete the source files and bolt immediately after. Don't worry, sis. I can't stand this kind of scumbag either. I guarantee I'll stream it for you crystal clear, in 4K quality. The guy patted his chest and promised. Meanwhile, Derek was going wild in Las Vegas. Although I blocked his number, I could still watch the live stream through Melanie's alt account. That's right, these two don't even bother to avoid suspicion at a time like this. Melanie actually went along to Vegas too, claiming she just happened to be going there to see an exhibition. But actually, she just went to spice up Derek's bachelor party. She posted a photo of a pool party on Finsta, and although only 2 legs were in the shot, that hand resting on her thigh was still wearing my C&L engagement watch. In this city full of sin, let's be a pair of happy sinners. Sinners. I'm in a cabin 10,000 meters up, drinking the red wine the flight attendant handed me, watching the last bit of battery on this phone run out. Outside the window is the pitch-black Atlantic Ocean. Goodbye, this continent full of desire and hypocrisy. When I landed in London, turned on my new phone, and put in the UKSIM card, it was already Friday afternoon New York time. It was time for the wedding rehearsal. Derek should have already woken up from his hangover in Las Vegas and rushed back to New York reeking of booze and perfume. He'll find he can't get through to my phone, but he won't panic, because I'd already texted his best man in advance, using that SIM card that had since been snapped in half to send one last scheduled message. Last-minute international video conference. Have to silence my phone. I won't make it to the rehearsal. I know the routine anyway, so just stand in for me. See you tomorrow. Love, Riley. The best man was Derek's die-hard buddy, so naturally, he was in on that humiliation plan too. To him, it didn't matter one bit whether the bride showed up to the rehearsal or not. She was just a tool to be humiliated anyway, just there to go through the motions. So, this day was dead calm. New York's high society is preparing for tomorrow's wedding of the century. Everyone is looking forward to the show, some to offer blessings, others to see a joke. Only me, in the apartment next to the Tate Modern in London, cooked myself a steaming hot bowl of noodles. This was my first meal in a foreign land. Simple, light, yet incredibly real. I turned on my computer and connected to the live stream link of the wedding. That's right, That wedding company provides full VR live streaming services, originally intended for the convenience of overseas friends and family who couldn't make it. But now it's become the best viewing seat for me, the bride. The stage is set and the actors are all in place. Let the show begin. Saturday, 12 noon, the Plaza Hotel. This is the favorite wedding venue for New York's old money. In the magnificent ballroom, crystal chandeliers refract dazzling light. Hundreds of guests are dressed to the nines. Besides friends and family from both sides, there are plenty of Wall Street peers, fashion socialites, and even Page Six reporters mixed in. Derek stood before the altar wearing that custom Tom Ford tuxedo, his hair slicked back meticulously, his face wearing that perfect, impeccable fake smile. He looked triumphant, his eyes even holding the excitement of a successful hunt about to happen. And in the first row off the stage sat Noah with a gloomy face, and Melanie wearing a low-cut gown, trying to outshine the whole room. The priest is reading the lengthy opening remarks. In the presence of God and everyone here, we shall witness the union of this couple. At this moment, the doors should open, and the bride should enter, accompanied by her father. Everyone turned their heads to look at those heavy oak doors. 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. The main doors remained shut tight, not budging an inch. Whispers began to spread through the crowd. Derek's smile froze for a moment. He turned his head and shot the best man a look. Just as the best man was about to pull out his phone to make a call, the lights in the banquet hall suddenly went completely out. The giant LED screen, which was supposed to be playing the couple's wedding photos, suddenly lit up. Coming from the speakers was not the wedding march, but a recording with slight static, sounding as if it came from hell. If it weren't to spite that hypocrite Noah, would I have gone to all that trouble to chase Riley? Wait until the wedding day and I'll say, I don't. I'm not wearing the worn-out shoes Noah wore. Derek's voice, clear and vicious, echoed throughout the banquet hall. The whole venue went into an uproar. In the darkness, Derek's face instantly turned deathly pale. He looked around in terror and shouted, "Turn it off! Turn off the sound! Who did this?" But this was just the beginning. The screen flashed and a PowerPoint slide titled, "Investigation Report on Mr. Derek's Premarital Private Life" appeared. First slide, a screenshot of Melanie's alt-account homepage, that M Secret Garden. Second slide, sneak shots of Derek entering and leaving an apartment in Soho, with timestamps showing exactly his so-called overtime. Third slide, that video of the black truffle risotto. Melanie's voice narrated in a cloyingly sweet tone. Don't let the leftover scraps go to waste either. Gotta make the most of everything, you know. The gaze of the entire venue was like searchlights, shooting in unison toward Melanie off stage. Melanie was already scared witless by this point. She had originally wanted to see me make a fool of myself on stage, but never expected the protagonist on the big screen to turn out to be herself. She panicked and tried to cover her face, only to find that the Scraps video was playing on loop. That was her voice, her hand, her truffles. Oh my God, is that Melanie? That's disgusting. Actually feeding his fiancée leftovers? Derek is way too low. How could he even say something like that? The chatter grew louder and louder, like a tsunami threatening to drown the two of them. Derek rushed toward the backstage control room like a madman, wanting to cut the power. But before he made it halfway, the screen image switched again. What appeared this time was a video of me that had been recorded long ago. In the video, I was wearing a simple white shirt sitting in front of a clean, bright background. I wasn't wearing makeup, yet I was more composed than ever. Hello, everyone. I'm Riley. The me in the video was smiling, my eyes clear and determined. I'm sorry I couldn't be there to attend this grand wedding. As you can all see, this wedding has been a lie from the very beginning, a game to satisfy the pathetic egos of certain people. Derek, you wanted to humiliate me on this stage, but I don't want to play along anymore. I'm unwilling to be your trophy, and I'm unwilling to be your fig leaf. As for those jewels and diamond rings, I've already cashed them out and donated the proceeds to an anti-domestic violence foundation for women. Thank you for your generosity, Mr. Derek. This is probably the only good deed you've ever done in your life. Finally, I wish you and Miss Melanie be locked together for good. After all, swill and a trash can are the ultimate match. The video ended, and the screen went black. The entire banquet hall fell into a deathly silence, but the silence lasted only a second. Immediately after, there was an even crazier uproar and the explosive flashing of camera strobes. Like sharks smelling blood, the reporters rushed to the front of the stage, frantically snapping photos of the livid Derek and Melanie, who had already collapsed onto the floor. Derek stood rooted to the spot. That once arrogant Wall Street elite now looked like a clown stripped naked. His fists cracked as he clenched them, his eyes bloodshot, staring dead at the now black screen. "Riley!" He let out a beast-like roar, but he could only rage impotently at the empty air. While thousands of kilometers away in London, I closed my laptop and drank the last sip of noodle soup. My stomach felt warm and my heart felt even more exhilarated. This wasn't just revenge. This was a perfect execution of PR crisis management, except this time, I created the crisis and perfectly extricated myself as the victim. Goodbye, New York's Vanity Fair. The fallout from this incident was even more intense than I had imagined. Thanks to those few reporters who sneaked in, the video of the public execution at Derek's wedding shot to the top of Twitter trends within half an hour. The Plaza scandal became the hot topic across the U.S. that day. That black truffle scraps video was even made into all sorts of viral memes, and Derek and Melanie completely became the laughing stock of the entire internet. Even worse, the hedge fund Derek worked for couldn't tolerate this kind of negative publicity. In this circle, a deficit in private morality often implies emotional instability and errors in judgment. Investors withdrew their funds one after another, and the company was forced to issue a statement announcing Derek's suspension and an internal investigation. For Derek, who valued his career more than his life, this was worse than death. As for Melanie, her gallery boss fired her immediately, even publicly drawing a line between them on Instagram. Her so-called socialite dream shattered more thoroughly than the glass shards on the floor of the Plaza Hotel. And I learned all of this through BBC News and WeChat messages sent by friends back home. Inside my phone lay countless missed call notifications from the U.S. Although I'd already tossed the SIM card, I was all too familiar with that string of numbers. And then there was Noah. He sent dozens of emails to an inbox I don't use anymore. "Riley, you were absolutely ruthless, but I have to say, that was so cool. I know you're in London. I have a branch office over there too. Want to meet up? Derek is finished. Do you feel better now? Come back to me. Let's start over." Looking at these emails, I replied with just 2 words: fuck off. Then I completely deactivated this email account. I don't need anyone to save me, nor do I need anyone to share my victory. A month later, I settled down in London. The new job is challenging, my colleagues are professional, and no one knows I'm the female lead in that New York gossip news. Here, I am Riley, a capable, single-career woman from the States. One weekend, I was reading at a cafe table in front of the Tate Modern when a familiar voice suddenly came from behind me. "Riley." I turned around and saw someone unexpected. Derek. He looked much more haggard. Gone was that expensive bespoke suit, wearing a crumpled trench coat, unshaven, eyes full of bloodshot veins, just like a stray dog. He actually chased me all the way to London. "You're really here?" Derek stared dead at me, his voice hoarse. "I've been looking for you for a whole month." I closed my book, not feeling afraid, but rather finding it somewhat pathetic. "Looking for me for what? Want to feed me leftovers again?" I asked coldly. Derek's face twitched. He seemed like he wanted to blow up, but he forced himself to hold it in. He took a deep breath, and actually dropped to his knees in front of me with a thud. In the bustling plaza of the Tate Modern, this once arrogant man knelt down. "Riley, I was wrong. I was really wrong." He clutched the hem of my skirt, tears and snot streaming down his face. "I don't know why it turned out like this. It wasn't until you left that I realized I literally can't live without you." Those words were just me bragging in front of my friends. "I actually fell in love with you a long time ago. I've been suspended by the company. The investors have all run off and I have nothing now. Only you. Only you can still help me. Can we go back to how it was? I swear to you, I'll change. I'll treat you well for the rest of my life." Passers-by around us stopped in their tracks, looking curiously at the scene. I lowered my head and looked at this man, weeping bitterly. "Love me? No, he doesn't love me. He loves that perfect tool who used to make him look good and help him handle crises. Now that he's down and out, he wants to retrieve that crutch that can help him make a comeback. Derek." I gently pulled back the hem of my skirt, not wanting him to dirty my new Burberry trench coat. "You look really ugly right now." Derek froze. "Do you think kneeling down can cancel out everything?" I stood up, looking down at him from high above. "Adults have to pay for their own actions. You planted the seed, and now it has borne fruit. Even though this fruit is bitter, you have to swallow it down, skin, pit, and all. Don't come looking for me again. Next time I see you, I'll call the police immediately and file for a restraining order." After saying that, I turned and walked away. This time I didn't look back, nor did my heart soften like before. Derek's desperate cries came from behind me, but in London's damp air, the sound quickly dissipated. I don't hate him anymore, because he doesn't deserve it. 1 year later. My life in London got back on track, and I even met a nice potential partner, a gentle and refined British architect. He takes me to antique markets on weekends and listens seriously to every PR case I talk about instead of treating me like a trophy. One day, while browsing the news, I stumbled upon a report about New York. Former Wall Street upstart causes DUI accident, faces prison time. The accompanying picture was a photo of Derek being taken into a car by the police. He looked even more run down, his eyes empty and lifeless. And in another inconspicuous gossip section, it mentioned that a certain former small-time curator named Melanie had to work as a hostess at some obscure nightclub because of huge credit card debts. As for Noah, I heard his company's IPO failed, and due to a broken capital chain, it is facing bankruptcy liquidation. In this massive Vanity Fair, the greedy and hypocritical will eventually be devoured. I closed the web page and took a deep breath of the slightly cool air by the Thames. My phone vibrated. It was a text from that architect. "Are you free tonight? I found a great Chinese restaurant. I heard their lotus root and pork rib soup is very authentic, and I want to take you to try it." Looking at those words, I smiled. This time, I knew those were fresh ribs, and that was a soup that belonged only to me. "Sure," I replied. "What time shall we meet?" Sunlight pierced through the clouds, illuminating the surface of the River Thames, sparkling. My story has just begun.